In this video, you'll discover the top delicious fruits that you can have while on the ketogenic diet, and of course, the ones that you must avoid. So you're looking to start the ketogenic diet, or maybe you're already on it, and it seems that the more information you read, the more confusing it gets. You're finding all this conflicting information, what you can have, what you can't have. Some people are telling you you can't have fruit at all. Some people are telling you you can. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about the best keto diet fruits, and we're also going to talk about the ones that you have to avoid. And I'm also going to teach you why this topic of fruit on the ketogenic diet is a little bit confusing. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Zarowski, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and be sure to join our notification community. That way it can help you excel your health and your life. Let's go ahead and dive right in and talk about the ketogenic diet and fruit consumption, okay? First of all, this is why it gets a little bit confusing, is because when you have people who have fatty liver, when you have people who have insulin resistance, they're going to be much more sensitive, right? So a good, healthy individual approaching the ketogenic diet can get away with a little bit more fruit, whereas somebody who has a lot of insulin resistance, they have fatty liver, they got some issues going on, they're going to have to really make sure that they're staying away from it, sometimes staying away from it altogether, not even having a little bit. So let's go ahead and talk about the difference in fructose versus glucose, okay? Now, when we talk about fruit, we're talking about fruit sugar, and that is fructose. We're talking about, general carbohydrates. We're talking really more about glucose here, okay? Neither of them are great for the ketogenic diet because they're going to throw you out of the state of ketosis, but I'm going to teach you why fruit in particular is a little bit different than glucose. Now, when we look at fructose, the big deal with it is that it's a huge burden to the liver. When you consume fructose, essentially what happens is it has to go to the liver to be converted into glucose before it can be utilized for the rest of the body, before it can be utilized by the cell. Now, this is why in general, when we talk about, in general terms of the population, consuming a lot of high fructose corn syrup, a lot of different foods sweetened with fructose, it's very, very bad for the body, and it's far worse than glucose because of the bad impact that it has on the liver. Now remember, when you are on the ketogenic diet, you are looking to the liver to actually produce ketones and help keep you stay in ketosis. So when we talk about fructose and you consume fruit and it goes straight to the liver, it's very burdensome and it's going to really mess you up while on the ketogenic diet. Now the thing is that it also is going to have a longer term impact, all right? If we consume glucose, we're going to get that fast blood sugar spike and then it's going to go back down. When we consume fructose, it's going to not spike your blood sugars quickly, but it's going to have that long-lasting impact on your blood sugar. The other thing is that it's going to mess with your ketones. You're going to start having decreased ketone levels. So when you talk in terms of fruit containing fructose on the ketogenic diet, like I said, is very burdensome to the liver, and it's going to mess you up a little bit. Now, when we talk about, general carbohydrates, we talk about general glucose, like I said, neither of these are great for the ketogenic diet, but the thing is about glucose is that it's used more directly by the cell. So when you use glucose, it can be used directly by the cell, by the muscle tissue for energy. It doesn't just get slammed to the liver and then have to, go through this process and be converted. It can go right to the body, used directly as energy. And also, when we take glucose, like I said, it's going to have a blood sugar rise immediately, but then it's going to taper off where the fructose is just going to keep on going. And then, of course, it's going to decrease ketones as well. So the big thing to understand here is that fructose is more burdensome to the liver, and there's a greater chance that it's going to mess up your state of ketosis. So following the ketogenic diet, we got to be careful with that. And as I mentioned before, we have to be very careful with, fatty liver, insulin resistance. It's going to mess with you a little bit more, and you may have to take fruit out altogether. Let's talk about the best and worst fruits and what you really need to know here. Now, when we look at these fruits right here, I'm talking in terms of net grams of carbs, okay? And each one of these is based on 1 cup, okay? So blackberries, we're gonna have about 6 grams of net carbs per cup. Going down the list, strawberries, 8, raspberries, 7. So these are gonna be some of your best fruits right here. Avocados, now I know that for my analytical people here, I had to put it in the fruit section. Now, most people are gonna say, well, that's a vegetable. It's actually a fruit, and so it's gonna have about 4.5 net carbs per cup, okay? The other thing that we're looking at is lemon and lime. Now, this is based on a cup. Most people aren't gonna go eat a cup of lime, a cup of lemon, but the good thing to know is that you can actually just go and put it in your water and you can put it on some of your different foods you're eating, and it's not a big deal. Grapefruit, and we're getting towards the upper end of the spectrum here of what we want to be having. Grapefruit is going to be 11 per cup, 11 net grams, and then green apple. Okay, now the green apple you got to be careful with. Like I said, this is getting towards the upper end, but one green apple is going to have about 12 grams of net carbs per cup. And so green apple, be careful with. It's on the upper end, like I said, and so just a little bit if it's something that you really want to have that day. Now, let's talk about some of the worst, okay? Because when we look at these, it's important to realize, okay, we're talking about some pretty small numbers here. Conversely, when we look at some of these other fruits, we're gonna have grapes, which is gonna have 26 grams of net carbs per cup. Banana, 30, pear, 31, mango, 30. These are the worst ones. And the big deal, and the reason you need to know this is because, for some reason, if you're, trying to slip a little bit in to your diet, know that these ones are gonna really mess you up. And by the way, if you wanna learn the beginner's grocery list on the ketogenic diet, I did a whole video on that, and it's gonna teach you all the must-have foods that you need to have while on the ketogenic diet. So check out that video. It's very educational. So mango's got 30, pineapple's 19, and cherries are 18. Now the other thing that I want to really point out here is you want to stay away from the dried fruits, okay? Those also are going to really spike your blood sugar. A lot of people, they're looking for those on-the-go fruits and on-the-go foods. While on the ketogenic diet, they're getting dried bananas, dried apricots, that sort of thing. You're going to make sure you stay away from those if you don't want to throw yourself out of ketosis. That wraps up this video. Give it a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate that. If you have any questions, put it right down in the comment section, and also tell me your experience with fruit in the comment section. I'd love to know, did it throw you out of ketosis? Were you able to stay in? How much are you allowed in your daily regimen in order to maintain ketosis? I'd love to know. Put it all in the comments, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. If you want to learn more about exercise, nutrition, reversing health conditions, weight loss, we talk about all that right here, and hit that bell notification to stay locked in so that you are alerted every time a brand new piece of content comes out that's going to help you improve your health. Also be sure to check out my other videos over here so that you can skyrocket your health. I'll see you in the next video.